establishing the harmony is the peace. Instead of resisting, if we accept, we can establish harmony. That harmony is that what actually give the condition called peace within us. Okay. So why I am talking about all this is for a very special reason. The reason is this is what is going to relieve my mind completely out of pressures, tensions, agitations. Okay. So what happens if I have all those? They trigger my, there's something called a pituitary gland just right below my brain. That's called master gland. And it has a cascade and a network of hormonal system in our body. And it triggers those hormonal systems thinking there's something wrong going on. Say, for example, if an infection comes into our body, let's say my throat got infected, right? So there's a cold outside. So it's a favorable condition for that virus, and my throat got infected. So what happens? I get cough, not only cough, I get fever, high temperature. What is this high temperature? It is actually indication that my entire body mechanism, defense mechanism, is focused on the infection, is fighting on that. So all the energies are actually taken towards that. Those energies are not available. That's why we feel weaker after we get, the relieved from a disease. When we are affected, we feel so weak. Because all the energies, entire thing goes towards the defense mechanism. The same thing happens when we are in stress. When we are under stress, our body feels there is something wrong happening to the body. The entire defense system is actually trying to focus at some place. That some place it doesn't know because it is not able to find a single location. That is the reason why people who undergo stress will get a different kind of problem. Some people develop acidity. This is one of the main reasons from result of the stress. Some people get the shoulder pain. Some people get neck pain. Some people get headache. All these things they develop because this defense system doesn't know where to go and attack. It just goes randomly and then keep attacking. People develop diabetes also because of stress. There's so many diseases. Cancer is primarily because of stress we undergo, right? So as a result of it, though we eat enough, though we do sufficient exercise, we still feel sick when we are under stress. Okay, so all these things is actually triggering, this mind is triggering the genes, and genes are now expressing certain cascade reactions. Now those expression of gene is nothing but production of a new chemical. That new chemical in the body is going and trying to do something and create a chaos in the body, right? So first and foremost fundamental thing is that we should be able to establish that containment. Whatever is happening, let me feel comfortable first so that I can think better, so that my body stays fit. It is not undergoing any kind of a sickness. If body undergoes sickness, you can't think better and you will be doing something wrong, and in turn again it puts stress on us. You see this? Our thought is acting directly on the genes, and the genes are now creating a new path of chemical reactions in our body, and we lose control over that. Now let's talk about the third topic here is meditation. So there is actually a lot of definitions and a lot of explanations, descriptions about what is meditation. I'll give you a simple approach. I mean, this is from Vedic scripts. Meditation is nothing but thinking about something continuously. Okay, a goal which we do every time. Most of the stress is because of we are concentrating on the wrong things. We are focusing on the wrong things, right? That's what we do. But that is what is the definition, in fact. But if we can also go back to a lot of literatures, Western literatures, Indian literatures, and across the world, when this meditation has so much importance. The Western concepts, the ancient concept says that you become that which you think. The same thing even Vedic scripture says. You become that what you think. Whatever you are thinking about, you become that. So we are meditating on the wrong thing. So we are the entire wrong vibrations are actually revibrating in us and causing all sorts of problems. So the focus where we have on the meditation is something, or the subject of meditation is something which is going to help us, not just per se kind of meditation. So the goal of meditation, in fact, as people always think, it is not to control your thoughts. The goal of meditation is not to control your thoughts. In fact, it is to stop letting those thoughts control you. Thoughts supposed to come as per my command. I should not go by the thoughts where I lose myself. That is where the pressures, that's where the tensions, agitations, and although I know several things, but my thought is actually driving me crazy, right? Challenges, right? So what is very important is the subject of meditation. If you have a subject of meditation, which is the essence of your life itself, there is nothing like it. What could be the essence of our life? It could be nothing but divinity, the ultimate. Whatever, whoever it is, based on our own belief system, there is nothing to hold back to us. So if we can have that ultimate as a subject of our meditation, rest everything becomes so small. I'm sure these days in this WhatsApp era, you must have seen the kind of videos which is from the macro to micro, like zooming out from a small particle on the Earth, where Earth not even the solar, the entire galaxy looks like a small particle in the space of universe, right? So it is all like the subjective. Where are we looking at? If we are looking at something, if we are keeping our purpose at something different, bigger, so rest everything appears so small, we'll be able to handle them so efficiently. It is graduating ourselves to the next level. That's what it is. In fact, that is how the meditation helps. Though there are many other scientific experiments to say that what kind of role meditation has on our neural system and how it helps to calm down at neurotransmitters levels, so that your emotions are taken care, and so on, right? So if you go back to the wellness, what we spoke about, body wellness, mental wellness, and spiritual wellness, right? If we work at a particular one, any one of these things, and we become like non-sustainable wellness. To get a sustainable wellness, it should be a holistic. So what is the result of it? Like we keep hearing about IQ, intellectual quotient. So if you keep your body fit, and if you are able to take proper diet, and certain amount of fatty acids, proteins, which affect on your brain functions and things like that, we'll be able to enhance our IQ, intellectual cohesion. Then another level, we have something called EQ, emotional cohesion. To get this emotional cohesion, I should be able to have command over myself. I should be able to control my emotions. Emotions are nothing but the thoughts getting translated into the chemical reactions into my body, and then now chemical reactions are out of my control. So if we are able to stop it at thought level without it is getting translated into our the chemical reactions level in our body in terms of hormones, that is what is emotional cohesions. We will be, when we are able to regulate our emotions, we will be able to make the best use of our IQ under all circumstances. Otherwise, IQ will be useful only under ideal situations. When we are in troublesome situation, IQ has no meaning. The most intelligent people, the great people, you see often, doing mistakes, doing something wrong because their EQ is very low. They are not able to control their emotional cohesions at that level. The consequences later, it in fact affects on our overall wellness. Spiritual cohesions. If we are able to connect to myself or the divinity or whatever we believe, which within us, the life driving force, a life force itself, if we are able to connect to that, and then we respond from what you call from the heart, not from our intellect, then our emotional cohesion and intellectual cohesion can be very effectively utilized, and you will become a holistic being. So here there is something called Ashtanga Yoga, which was proposed by Yogi Patanjali long ago, several thousands of years ago. So what attracts me in out of these 8 angas of this Ashtanga Yoga, the first 2 are called Yama and Niyama. These 2 components are very much related to our everybody's, irrespective of our profession or location, place, or whatever it is. These 2 are in fact so well related to us, so well related to our emotional balance, and thereby helps us for overall holistic wellness. I just end here with these 2, with this last slide, and we can have any questions we can discuss. You can put your questions in the the message box. In fact, so here there are 2 components. One is Yama, other one is Niyama. The Yama are those where in fact we need to get rid of certain qualities from us. The other side is existing within us. It's a natural thing. Naturally, these, whatever I put here, honesty, moderation of senses, attitude of non-possessiveness, non-violence, truthfulness, these are natural qualities of a human being. However, for whatever reason, we have developed the opposite characters in us. Those things we need to get rid of. Okay, so out of fear, if we are not confident, so we cannot be honest. If I am emotionally so low and I cannot control my senses, the moderation of senses is a very natural process. But my desires for certain things makes me like, get out of this moderation, and I go like, I fall trap for all the senses. On the other side, attitude of non-possessiveness. Again, this is possessiveness is again because of insecurity. So if I don't have insecurity, I am always non-possessive. I don't try to keep anything for myself. I do it only because I feel insecure of myself. Non-violence. Even if you see if you want to, know what it is, even a serial killer, if he is walking by a road, if a small baby is about to get crashed under a vehicle, if this guy see, his natural reaction is to pull that baby out of that accident. It's a very, very natural reaction. Okay. But we become violent out of greed and many other, bad qualities over the time we must have developed. So all that we have to do to get this asteya, brahmacharya, aparigraha, ahimsa, and satya are to get rid of the opposites what we have. On the other side, niyama, the tapas, swadhyaya, Ishwar Pranitam, Swach, and Santosh. This we have to do the sadhana. We have to practice. We have to practice to get rid of impurities from us. All impurities, unless we work out, they cannot go away. Swadhyaya, unless we pay attention, look into us, put 24 cameras all around us, and then observe what I am doing, what I am talking, what I am thinking. And unless I put myself under observation, I cannot really think of any change what I have to bring in. Ishwar Panidan, somewhere we need to connect ourselves with that ultimate. Purity of our body and mind. Unnecessarily do not get into all the nonsense which are related. Make yourself pure. Santosh is nothing but contentment and inner happiness. Whatever it is, it has come to me and it is to the best of it given to me by the divine. So I'll be happy and work for more. Try to achieve the best. Always, we should have that thirst to achieve the best. This is what we're supposed to do. By probably following these two things, we will be able to achieve the holistic wellness where our emotional cohesion, intellectual cohesion, and spiritual cohesion will come together and help us to actually regulate or control this epigenetics in our favor and live happily and peacefully. So thank you very much. And I would now open this forum for any discussions.
Sir, I am Ram Mohan Namile, sir.
Sir, there is exam. Please, any other participants, please.
Yeah, please.
Short and brief. Anybody?
Yes, someone was asking a question, please. Go ahead.
Okay, if
Babu Devakaran Garu, can you please unmute yourself and ask?
okay, yes, एक मिनट Sir Sairam, that is in mute. Your phone is in mute. Please check.
Yeah, I think there are 2-3 questions in the text box. I'm not able to go through them. Can you see and find out? A couple of questions appeared and disappeared. They might be there in the message.
No problem, sir. Sir, there is an exam now. There is a small test immediately. So thank you very much, Sairam sir, for being with me. It is an innovative topic. Actually, it shows you because you are the expert in genetics and biotechnology and these aspects. It is a surprising aspect of linking this meditation, epigenetics, wellness and meditation and its impact on the day-to-day life and happiness. Really, it is a combination of science and as well as the practice and philosophy. And these three things have been connected very nicely, sir. And really, if end wells well and everything is well. So this is your session gives a new insight of the entire FDP. This is a combination of the three topics which is connected and even I can't say that it is our academic fraternity. You are also once upon a time a faculty member, so you are also part of us for the time being now. Really, it is a great help to disseminate the knowledge which you have shared to all my colleagues. More than really 150 faculty members participated. So thank you very much, Sairam sir, for accepting and for being with this. And a brief introduction of this FDP is this is sponsored by AICT, that is the Atal, under the program of Atal, AICT Teaching and Learning program. And almost 100 faculty members, almost 150 faculty members participated from entire nation. They represent the entire country from Kashmir to Kanyakumari. These people are representing even eastern, western, central part of India. Really, we are happy to listen to you, and definitely this knowledge might be disseminated to our colleges and to the students, and it is a new insights that have been given by you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Doctor. Thank you. All of you. Namaste.
Namaste, sir. Thank you.